Shalom, Yasharala, Yabrakam, Yahweh Hamashaki. Hawashai. I pray and hope that our sound is good. Put a 7 in the room if you can hear me well. Shalom, Banah. Put a 7 in the room if you can hear me good. All right. Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. Kwame Yasharala. All right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to get it started. So Kwame Yasharala, we are live. Isaiah Yasharala, Facebook and YouTube. All right. So we're doing the YouTube, Facebook. So you all can see each other. Kwame Yasharala. All right. So everybody that's in this classroom, a lot of people just need to be removed because they're not active. They're not helping. They're not teaching the Torah. They're not reading the Torah. They're not participating in anything. They're just not active. So I suggest that after this week's class that we go through and Laah Shakwat. Yep. All right, so I'm gonna that we go through and we do a sweep. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a lot of times where, you know, when it comes to the Shabbat, as we know, that the Most High, He commanded us to not only learn the Torah, but to study the Torah and to teach it to our children. And I specifically believe that this is the downfall of the so-called African Americans, the Black, Hispanics, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. I believe this is a large part of it because when it comes to the teaching of our culture, there's a big negligence in it. You know what I'm saying? So I've heard people say, please go over there, the water, that everybody's not a teacher, and I believe that everybody is a teacher to their own degree. Once you learn something, you're responsible for it. We're accountable for it. All right. So you learn something, you repeat what you know. All right. And with this case, we are going to repeat the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Now, forgive me, I don't have my glasses. I can't perfectly make things at the eyesight of what I need, so I'm going to have trouble reading. I might be doing a lot of stumbling. I forgot it was my week to teach. Last week I had read for our brother Shamar, and salute to our brother Shamar, man. Hey, y'all make sure y'all share this out. All right. Last week I read for our brother Shamar, and prayers up for him. I pray he's feeling better. I hope and pray that the brother's feeling better. Last week, our brother Shamar, he had his class, and then this week is my class. And I'm hoping that the young men that are after us take up their courses because, it's imperative that our people hear the word of the Most High. And now, I know for me, I listen to the Torah by myself. When nobody's around, I'm listening to the Bible. When nobody's around, I'm listening. All right, let me show y'all this real quick. It's my YouTube. This is my YouTube. I got other stuff on here, but this is my YouTube. You see that? That's Plato Timaeus. Full audio book. All right, with accompanying text. This is what I do in my spare time. All right. I don't even talk about Mortal Kombat so much. You know what I'm saying? The brother Genesis beat me so bad in Mortal Kombat. I handed him the crown. I said, there you go. But this is what I do in my spare time. Shakwat. Laah. Don't smile, because that smile right there is telling me that, you're not listening to me. I want you to say Khan, Abba. Khan. Shakwat, quiet. So this is what we do with our spare time. You know what I'm saying? Again, salute to our brother Genesis Loopy, brother Ashiaf, man. That brother took the Mortal Kombat crown from me, man. The brother got that character Barris, and beat the sand break off me. So that's something I enjoy because I believe that every teacher should want to see their students excel. I believe that every teacher should want to see their students be better than them. Right? If you're an edifier, if you're a teacher, don't you want your students to be better than you? Right? So it's the same thing when it comes to this word. When it comes to the word of the Most High, we want and we hope. I hope the sound is still good. We want, we hope, and we expect those that we're learning from, that they excel also. So Timaeus, right? Shaquat, Baba Kusha, give it to your aqua, please. Find something else to do. The water. Shop, Shaquat. All right. Timaeus was a young man. All right. All right, let's start here. All right, that should sound better. So Timaeus was a young man that was a student of Plato. Plato and Socrates were together, right? So Socrates, he never really, like even though it says Plato, it's not the writings of Plato, his own words. It's Plato writing down. Plato was the scribe of Socrates. Put it like that. Laah, come back in here. Kwam kwam. Laah, kwam kwam. Laah, I said everything over there. I said everything over there. Salak Laah. So with that being said, Plato was the student of Socrates. Timaeus was another man that they was learning from. Timaeus, saying you can hear the familiarity of the word time in there. All right, so going over constellations, time, etc. All right, the shape of the earth. All right, you can learn it from these elder writers. All right, go here to Timaeus. You can read that right there. Okay, let's go to the Torah. So let's start with the book of Deuteronomy chapter 11. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 11 is where we're going to start at. Therefore, thou shalt love. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 1. All right, Shaquat. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 1. Therefore, thou shalt love Yahweh, the Elohim, and keep his charge, the Lord thy God, and keep his charge, and his statutes, and his judgments, and his commandments always. Verse 2. And know ye this day, for I speak with your children. Hey, Salak, Masha speaking to you. Excuse me, Salak, Sadaya, Kwamlaba, come here. I thought now. Come here. Masha's talking to you. Yahweh's talking to you. Look at what Yahweh said right here. He said what? What did Yahweh say? He says, and know ye this day, for I speak not with your children, which have not known and which have not seen the chastisement of Yahweh your God. No, listen, no, Shemai, no, Laah. The chastisement of Yahweh your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm, and his miracles, and his acts, which he did in the midst of Egypt unto Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and to all his land. So Yahweh is saying, Yahweh is saying, he's saying that he spoke. All right, so Yahweh is saying that he spoke not only to the children that was there at that time, but he's speaking to us in the future. Quiet, right? What? Verse 4. And verse 4, Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 4. And what he did unto the army of Yahweh, unto their horses, and unto their chariots, and how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow as they pursued after you, and how Yahweh hath destroyed them unto this day. So if you look at it, no, Egypt has not risen. There's no rising of Egypt and the other societies and the other cultures. The societies and the other cultures that were around Egypt that were around at that time. Egypt has been destroyed forever, and it will not be raised. So when the Most High says unto this day, he's telling us as a warning. He says, remember what he did to Egypt in that time. He's saying he's going to do that again. So he's warning us to be mindful, right? Verse 5. And what he did unto you in the wilderness until ye came into this place. So now the Most High is reminding. Now, I think this is very important because we have all different types of things that's happening around the world. We have earthquakes, we have volcanoes. All right, we have all different things that people don't care about, and it's very hurtful and painful to see, because outside from spiritual tumultuous weather, there's astronomical events that's happening. Like right now, we're not just in new moon, and it sucks how our people don't want to come together, how they don't want to work together, how they don't want to operate as families, how they don't want to operate as nations. You got astronomical events as Christ coming and signs that are happening in our time frame. We are right now what's called, study for yourselves. And Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 5. Thank you. I hope for shalom. I hope for shalom one day. And and that he did what? Unto you in the wilderness until you came into this place. And what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the sons of Rahoban, how the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and their tents, and the substance that was in their possessions in the midst of all Yasher Allah. So the Most High is reminding us out of the mouth of Mashah that he even chastised his own. He says, remember what I did to the Egyptians, but remember how I chastised y'all when you didn't do what I said, how you got a whooping. Do you want a whooping? You want a whooping? You do not want a whooping as a nation. We do not want a spanking. We don't want a spanking or a whooping individually, and we don't want a spanking or a whooping as a nation. So Yahweh already gave us a bad pop. He gave us a bad pop, and we don't want another pop. So he reminds us, he says, remember what I did. He says, therefore shall ye keep all the commandments which I command you this day, that ye may be strong and go in and possess the land, whether ye go in to possess it. So the keeping of the Most High's commandments is what keeps us strong, right? First Kings chapter 1, KJV, Blue Letter Bible. So First Kings chapter 1, right? And the Most High gives us instructions, right? So look at this, First Kings chapter 1, verse 1. Now Dawad was old and stricken in the years, and they covered him with clothes, but he got no heat. So in Malak Dawad and King David's older years, as he got older, what he did was he not only was losing his heat, he was going through tumultuous family issues. All right, we see that not only did Bathsheba come into play, but also you had people that was trying to steal the Lord's crown. All right, not only just him steal his crown, but also, you know, Sariah. But also his governmental, his kingly issues didn't stop. First Kings chapter 2, verse 1. Let's see what he says. Now the days of Shaquat, you took it first. Be quiet. No, Laah, Shaquat, Laah, Abba got it. Laah, Abba has it. It's right there. Right. Shaquat. Now the days of David drew nigh. So what did that mean? That means King David was about to die. That's sad that he should die. That's sad. Our king was about to die. Yeah, I know. I'm reading. And he charged Solomon. So King David told his son, right? Saying, look, Sarai, listen, I go the way of all the earth. I know. One day I go the way of all the earth. Look. Kayaya, Saraya, be thou strong. Are you strong? Are you strong? Show me you strong. Show me you strong. Okay, now give me a hug and show me you strong. Okay. Now be obedient to Yahweh and your Abba and show me strong, okay? I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. Look at this. And keep the charge of Yahweh, the Allahaya. Listen, Sariah. Listen, Chayaya, Serenity. Walk in his ways. Walk in Yahweh's ways, Khan. To keep his statutes, Khan Sariah. And his commandments, Khan Kayaya. And his judgments, Khan Sariah. And his testimonies, Khan Kayaya. As is written in the law of Moses, Khan Sariah. That thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, whether thou turnest thyself. All right. So this is what we just read. So in Malak Dawad, he told us to be strong before he died. This is what he told us. All right. He told us bond. Now this message is spoken to his son, but his son, they wrote these for our edification for these days. Okay. So First Kings chapter 2, verse 1. We'll start at chapter 1. And then read verse 1, right? This is the death of David. And during the time frame, you get to chapter 2, right? And then you see that as David's dying, he says the same thing that's already told to us in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 11. Deuteronomy chapter 11, Yahweh said it first. Where do you think David learned it from? The scripture says David was a man after his own heart. Therefore, shalt thou what? Shalt thou keep the commandments which I gave you this day. Now, this is something that I really think is important that a lot of Yasha Alim don't pay attention to. They don't teach it because a lot of Israelites just speak catchphrases, right? So since a lot of Israelites just speak catchphrases and they don't really, they just probably parrot Don't be a poly parrot in Israel, just repeating what other people say. Don't do that. You have to study for real. Listen, 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 3. Keep the charge of Yahweh, thy God, to walk in his ways. Soraya, Laah. To keep his commandments, and look at this, and his what? Judgments and his testimonies, as is written in the law of Moses. So when we're looking at the testimonies, that takes us all the way up to the time of Christ. So Christ, his testimony, his remembrance, Zakar, his memorial is written in the Old Testament, is written throughout the prophets. No matter why. Why? Because all of these things was written beforehand for our learning. So therefore, when we read them, we don't understand sometimes that we're reading, that we're seeing about Christ. But we are. Christ is right. His testimony is right there in the Old Testament. All right. Keep the charge of Yahweh thy God. So that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? We say laws, statutes, commandments, but it's also his charge. Keep the charge, right? Walk in his statutes, commandments. Look at this. Judgment. Shemai, Laah. Shemai. His Shemai means listen. Shemai means listen. His testimonies, as is written in his law, right? So it's not just his law, statutes, commandments. It's his judgments, it's his testimonies. This week's Torah portion is right here. All right. This week's Torah portion is written out clearly and plain for you. Right? It's called Ra'ah. Ra'ah. It's called observe. We're to observe Yahweh's law, statutes, commandments. So jumping right into it, he says what? He tells us to observe. And in the form of observing, there's applications. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 9. That ye may prolong your days in the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers to give unto them and to their seed, a land that floweth with milk and honey. For the land whether thou goest to in possess it, is not as the land of Egypt, from whence ye came out, where thou sowest thy seed and waterest it with thy foot, as the garden of the herbs. But the land whether thou goest to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven, a land which Yahweh the Elohim careth for. The eyes of Yahweh the Elohim are always upon it, from beginning of the year even until the end of the year. And it shall come to pass when ye shall hearken diligently. That means listen. Hearken diligently unto my commandments, with which I command you to this day, to love Yahweh the Elohim, to love him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give you rain of your land in due season. The first rain, the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and the oil. And I will send grass in the fields of the cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourself, that your heart be not deceived, neither turn aside and serve other gods and worship them, wherein Yahweh's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heavens, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, and lest ye perish quickly from off the good land which Yahweh giveth you. Shemai, Shadiah, that's not for you to touch. When you touch that, it makes a sound that bothers everybody. That's not for you to touch. Abba doesn't touch that. Listen, Shemai, Laah, Shadiah. That's not for Shadiah. Shop. And shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, and lest ye perish quickly from off the good land which Yahweh giveth you. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. Let me see real quick. The principle that we started off reading last week with this week's Torah portion is where we're picking up at. All right. So now that was last week's Torah portion. So this week's Torah portion, it starts at verse 26. So the Most High tells us to make sure that we remember and keep all his laws, statutes, and commandments, and his judgments, his testimonies, right? That what? That we don't get in trouble, that we don't get cursed. And not only cursed, but that we don't get kicked out the land. And that's exactly what happened. As a nation, we got kicked out the land. As a people, we got kicked out of our own home. Now we're currently suffering the curses that he told us we would go through. But we're the children who got to suffer through the curses, even though it was our forefathers who sinned. Our fathers, our mothers came up, did the same sins we did. Our fathers, our mothers came up, did the same sins that their parents did. And as the children of Israel, we're stuck in this cursed condition. All right. There shall no man, and it hurts that we're stuck in this cursed condition. There shall no man be able to stand before you. For Yahweh, your Allahaya, shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he hath said unto you. So we have two parts of this. We have one part of the blessing to where Yahweh said we will own all the land no matter where we stand. He said we will own everything no matter where we stand, right? And in the process of that, he said not only will we possess it, we will own it, Shariah, Serenity. He said not only will we own it, we possess it. He also said no matter where we go, he will put the fear of us upon the people. So what I would like to encourage everybody to do is, if you get a chance, please read the Bible. This week's Torah portion is Deuteronomy chapter 11, and you can see it right here. It starts at verse 26, and he stopped at verse 6, chapter 16. You have to wait till I'm done. And then after that, you have, I know, Isaiah chapter 54, verse 11 through verse 55, right? I know, I'm about to get you. And then you have John chapter 6, right? You just start at verse 35 and stop at verse 51. All right. This week's Torah portion itself was very beautiful, and I pray that everybody learns. If you have a person in your city that's a Torah portion teacher, or if you have a synagogue that you can go to, I encourage that you do so. Okay. Y'all come, y'all. All right. I have to take care of their daughters now, and I'm very grateful for the ministry that everybody's operating and participating in. Please remember that the Most High's Torah is mandated, and that everyone, every man, every woman, every child should teach, learn, and study the Torah. Prophets.